Welcome back to the How to Be a Modern Content Creator series. I am Dustin PolyInnovator. I've been a podcaster for 7 years now, and between my two different shows, audio has been really interesting to be as a creator. When I started out writing, but eventually I wanted to get my foot into the water for audio and video, and I was a little too scared for video when I first started out, so I did my time with podcasting. I think that was a great idea because it got me used to hearing my own voice when I'm seeing my recordings, or hearing my recordings in this case. And so that's a great trajectory for a lot of people too, if you want to get your nervousness out of the way. So let's talk about this. Depending on how you like to present yourself, this may be a great way to start. Even though I started with writing, it was the audio format that got me to come out of my shell, really. So the first thing to do is to find your voice. Do you want to talk like this? Or do you want to talk like this? If you want to have that presence that's deep and that kind of thing, you have that choice. You can talk however you like. I talk a little too fast. So taking a deep breath and slowing down, my voice changes. And so these are the kind of ways of finding your voice, like literally, but also what is the tonality, how do you want to sound, and what do you want to be known for? So podcasting is a great format for those who feel more comfortable speaking than writing or being on camera. It is a powerful medium to connect with people authentically with your audience through conversation. So whether it's a solo cast, and so it's kind of like a fireside chat, or if it's an interview with someone else, people get to come in and either talk with you or hear from you, or to hear from you and another person together. And so it's a really unique way of connecting with people, especially since most people listen to a lot of videos on YouTube, even in a new tab, while doing something else. So nowadays, like, they kind of have that same podcast mentality with YouTube stuff. However, as a podcast, you can be listened to in the shower, in the workout room, or the gym, or on a walk, or in the car while you're on the road trip. These are all different ways for someone to be connecting with you. And if you're not there, then you kind of have missed out on that opportunity for people to be listening to you and hearing from you more often. So one of the lessons I want to teach you, and this is a great moment to mention it in this series, is that the more places people can find you, the more times they're going to see you and hear from you, meaning the more likely they're going to resonate with you, follow you, and buy from you. So the first episode was talking about the entrepreneurship aspect. You want to be there where people are going to be. So you want to be in the places that your listener, your followers, your subscribers are going to be. And if someone might follow you on YouTube but doesn't spend that much time on YouTube, they like to listen to podcasts instead, then you're missing out on that person by not making a podcast. So the other next topic here is the ease of production. Compared to video, audio content is a lot easier and faster to produce. With minimal equipment, just need a mic, really, and post-production, you have to do some EQing and balancing a little bit. You can focus on delivering high-value content consistently. And so you can even batch record these a lot faster than doing video. With video, I have to account for lighting, the camera, changing clothes if I'm batching or something like that, or in this case, just really being presentable on video. However, with audio, it's one of those differences that like makes a big ease of just getting into it and doing a lot of it. I will say I've never been that great when it comes to producing a higher quality mastery of the audio, so I don't necessarily EQ it to greatness or master it really high. I always kind of just like, okay, does the audio sound balance? Like at some points my guests might be really quiet and I might be really loud, and there's that disconnect. And so I have to bring myself down or bring them up, and so we're equal. And then I take the whole audio and bring up the gain a little bit so you can hear it. You can always turn down your own volume, but I want to make sure that my show it's not too quiet and making it hard for you to listen. So it's easier to turn things down than it is to turn it up. And so that's the kind of thing that like, it doesn't take that much time to learn that skill. The more advanced steps and the more advanced tools, yes, it does, because you need Adobe, Audition or something like that, or some of the other fancy digital audio workstation tools. But I just use Audacity or DaVinci Resolve, which have pretty good capability. And you can even use automatic tools like Adobe Podcast to really make it easier for you. The next topic is building a deeper connection. Podcasts create this intimate experience for listeners, like I mentioned earlier, fostering a loyal audience. The long-form nature, like with interviews, allows you to explore ideas in depth, helping you to develop that authority and trust. People want to see you as a thought leader. By making a podcast, it helps you with that process. Really, you're going to see that with all three pillar types too. Each one in some way creates that authority for you. By having all three, you get to combine that power. It's not just one or the other, they actually compound with each other. And even this series, I'm going to make a supercut of it, and then I'm probably going to post it in the Polycast, or not Polycast, and then I'm going to probably post it in the PolyTools Creator Spotlight podcast. Even though it's not an interview series, it'll be long form enough, and on top of that, this is such a prudent series for my channel that I think it's really important. Again, people will be able to listen to it and then manage their own content journeys, build out their ecosystems by listening to me while they do their work. Really, there's not much else to say. Like I mentioned in the last episode, these 3 episodes are going to be a little shorter because they're just talking about the different content types. Each one needs to be talked about a little bit more in depth when it comes to like, how do you build a YouTube channel? How do you actually do the podcast? Like, how do you do the distribution? That kind of thing. We'll get into that in some later episodes, and I'll probably make individual videos down the line of how to start a YouTube channel, for example. But for podcasting, you just need a distribution host. I use Transistor.fm, link down below if you want, and I can have an unlimited podcast with them. If you want a free option, there's always Podcastle, and don't do Spotify for podcasters. It's not good. But again, really, that's all you need. You just have to learn how to do it, and we'll get into that later on. Cheers. Thanks for being here.